Hey, everybody, welcome to Twisted Tragedies, where we follow all the twists and turns wherever they lead. I'm your host, Elise, and I'm sorry I wasn't on this morning. I did not get much sleep last night, let's put it that way. I had a bad night. All right, I'm tired. I'm very, very tired. So I apologize. Yeah, you know what? It's about that time where Tracy had gifted a bunch of memberships and now they're all going to be like ready to come up. So that's probably why you have to renew. You have to renew your membership or hope that you get gifted another one, of course. But sorry, I got to fix the bubble. But oh, thank you, Tracy. Tracy shakes the bushes and gives 10 memberships. Let's see. Erica, Diana, hey, how are you? Yeah, I know, I saw it. Lisa gets one. Yay, Maui, Willow, JMS, Carol, Pebbles, Bowie Girl. I hate it though. I hate the gray. I hate it. Oh, all right. Otherwise, I'd send you the link. Oh, same shit, different day. I hate the gray, to be honest. I really just need to like diet, but that, takes time, money, and energy I don't have. But hopefully sooner than later. Maybe hopefully before I don't care if I have to have box dye. I honestly feel like I'm going to do it before I go on my 3-day mini trip to Maine, because I can't with these grays anymore. Looking out of control. Hey, Erica. It's looking a little cray. So, I have the Zoom. Nothing is happening yet. Of course. I can't. It's really the roots and underneath most of my gray. The rest of it is fine. It's just here. That's what I get for being almost 40 though, And yeah, this is my I don't care today. I'm not doing anything here. In case you guys were wondering, I don't care today. Today is one of those days. I did not get shit for sleep last night. I kept waking up every like 20 minutes. So it's my messy mom don't care hair today. Yeah, I'm exhausted. Literally exhausted. Yeah, she did. She shook your bush. That would be nice, but I doubt that would happen. Hey, girl. Yeah, black. My hair is actually black. Funny enough. It's black. Oh, yeah. The iPhone thing. Ugh, that's the problem. I know, girl. Listen, I'm almost at 40s. I'll be 39 this year, so we're close. My mom went gray early. Hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm in perimenopause. Maybe that is what it is. It's possible, right? For real though. It's because I give a shit. Yeah, but I have to figure out that whole thing with Apple phones for you guys. I know my video is not on right now. I'm trying to do something, but I know that the Apple phone thing, to not be able to get your memberships on an Apple phone, that's really obnoxious. And I don't know why that's a thing, to be honest. Some people can do it with using their browsers, I've been told, but it is what it is. Hi, Diana. Yeah, a lot of people needed a break, girl. Believe me, I totally get it. I totally understand it. I do. I didn't either. I got sent like the, clown down version of just Jackson and him. It's so funny to me. Like what new things were said? Absolutely nothing. You got it, Ash. I have the Zoom, but nothing's happening yet. So, you know, I get it. A lot. We have covered a bunch of stuff since then. So, if you guys missed it, we actually did a good one on cults yesterday. Believe it or not. So, if you needed something to watch, go back and watch the one we did on cults yesterday. It was Twin Flames cult v FKR cult. On confusing and 3-pointer. Well, that's the thing. How could at this point you should know that case in and out, sir. There's no excuse. None at all. Her minions, I'm guessing. Hey, Kodo. Her minions, I'm guessing, Tracy. That's what I'm guessing. Her minions, You can't sue for harassment, technically. That's not like a thing. But I find it funny that they would even imply they were going to sue for harassment considering they're the harassers. Like, there's a reason why I don't respond to the harassers. It's because A, they're not worth my time, and B, they blame everybody for everything. I got sent a screenshot this morning, where someone said, "Oh, well, they made a comment that I encouraged," this is hilarious, "bullying or harassment," which is so funny because I barely say anything on social media for a reason, unless it's important or unless I need to make something correct, right? That is being said. I saw that too. But yes, it's difficult to win a defamation case, but B, not only have I not encouraged harassment or bullying, I absolutely tell my audience, do not from this channel go and harass people. Do not go and stalk people on the internet. It's weird. Okay. It serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever other than to, get that person going or harm them in some way. Calling out bad behavior from the cult is not harassment, number one. Number two, when someone just assumes that every fake account that has something to say to them is one person, wrongly, I might add, that assumption then turns into, it's okay to harass that person because I think those 10 sock accounts are her. Well, here's a rude awakening for all of you who keep blaming my friend Julie for being sock accounts that she isn't. She isn't. So you're looking for who, God knows who, that isn't her. But by blaming her and then going after her because you think those sock accounts are her, I guess you wasted precious time not figuring out who it actually is. Okay? Nobody would waste their time doing that. It's ridiculous and absurd. There's no reason. So it makes no sense. Basically, they're saying, I think these 10 sock accounts are you. So in turn, I'm going to harass you all the time because I think those accounts are you. Which is not only utterly ridiculous, but none of those accounts happen to be her. So, or anybody I even know of. I don't even know who they are. Nor do I care, because again, I don't condone bullying or harassment in any sort of way at all. But the most ridiculous point is the harassers crying about harassment. Bro, when people aren't even responding to you other than to say a few words like this, maybe, just maybe, it's time to move on with your life. You know what I'm saying? They very well might be, but that takes time with the BBO. It's not something that just poof happens overnight. The BBO works very, very slowly, as we know. Yeah, minions. Yep. You know what I mean? You can't sue for wrongful arrest because it wasn't wrongful. Just because you were let off of something, acquitted, does not, like, you were still found guilty of driving under the influence. There's nothing to sue for. Right? You're gonna mean words. We're gonna do that. I saw that. Yep. You know, utterly insane to me. Utterly insane. Thank you. Thank you. It's pretty good. I need to get a desk is what I really need, Kodo. That I'm like maxed out with the space I'm currently using. So that's the next thing is a desk. It'll look better when I have a desk. Where is Anna? Oh, there you are. There you are. I mean, that's just a very large assumption. We also have to remember there's a ton more evidence and his own words that sink his battleship. You know? Sink his battleship. A package for me? I love packages. Thank you. You love surprises. Well, I just think, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Twin Flames. We went over it yesterday. It was a pretty good, like thing. We went over the entire thing of it. The guy is freaking Looney Tunes McGee for sure, for sure. Sarah Lynn, I have nothing to do with what any other person on planet Earth does or doesn't do, nor do I monitor everybody's posts on X. But it's opinions, and that's the thing. Why the hell spend your time blaming everyone else for fake sock accounts when it's not even them? I don't even know who those are. And more just pop up here, there, and everywhere. It's like, I'm not spent. Who the F wastes their time making 10 sock accounts? I will keep an eye on it because they always put it on my front porch instead of my side porch. That's insane. I don't know how anyone does that. I don't understand how anyone does that. I really, really don't. I don't get it. That's crazy talk. Yeah, she doesn't even go online. Like, she got rid of her account like a long time ago, you know? I honestly feel a little bad for Essie. I'm not gonna lie. Because I feel like, what did she really do to them? They're really just attacking her because their own like insecurities and jealousy issues have nothing to do with what SD did or didn't do, you know? Well, I mean, Sue O'Connell is kind of a asshole. We do have domestic terrorism when people, and I also think that, a lot of when you use lies and bullshit, right, to try to harm other people, I see that as a form of mental and emotional terrorism. Okay. In my opinion, that's exactly what it is. A form of friggin' terrorism. You're terrorizing someone. That's what you're doing, Oh, I feel your pain, freak. No worries, my friend. You rest up. You rest up. I believe me, I get migraines and they are the worst ever. I haven't had one in a while. I think I had one last month, which was a shock because I hadn't had one in a while. But they are the freaking worst, my friend. Make it nice and dark. Don't let anything be too loud. If I'm booming, let me know. I'll turn it down. It is the worst. It absolutely is. No, because we don't have a date yet. All we have is the, court stuff. That, like the regular dates. There's no date that's been set for the trial yet. So, right? You know what I mean? You're visiting. Are you visiting? Are you coming to visit in the US? If you're visiting, you better let me know. Not only am I not responsible for other people, but I encourage people to not bully and not harass each other because it literally, what does it serve? What purpose does it serve exactly? you're wasting your time online harassing people you don't even know all day long, 24/7. Just it makes no logical sense to me why anybody would do that. It's the Sewer Turtles hearing today. And the Zoom's still not on yet. I have it on the screen right here. Well, that's exactly what it is, right? Hire the media, make some bold claims. Ridiculous, but bold claims. Okay. Damn it, Anna. I would have said stop off and visit, obviously. Yes, I am. I have the Zoom on this screen. You know what I find funny? Is I don't see it being covered on like Court TV, Law and Crime, anything like that. Interesting. Interesting. Well, I mean, there was a very serious issue with the jury in the Karen Reid trial. And if we don't think that, I mean, if you can't acknowledge that there was, that's a kind of a bigger problem. You know, if we have jurors that can't even figure out the actual evidence and aren't listening to it at all because they think they're going to get 5 minutes of fame after, or they were looking at social media when they weren't supposed to be. That's a huge problem, you guys. It's a huge problem. It's a huge freaking problem. Right? How important. Hey, Grave. We were talking about the Bell Witch stuff yesterday, and I brought up your documentary. It's for his trial. I'm not exactly sure if it's like motions in limine, discovery. But yeah, that's crazy. Well, that's part of the problem. That PR machine that made everything a giant circus. Yeah, that. But no, I did not hear anything about Hank's brother. Hank's brother wouldn't be charged with anything. That's absurd. I don't disagree with you. I really honestly think maybe an IQ test before you become a juror is like necessary. I don't disagree. I think maybe that is a necessity in this day and age. I never would have thought it would have had to be, but it seems like it might need to be something like that. You know what I mean? Because some of the things that these jurors said made me scratch my head. Like, what are we talking about here? What is happening? Like, wait. As far as I knew, this was already a scheduled hearing ahead of time. So wait a second. Did you see new indictments? Because he was already arraigned on the other one before. And I know that this hearing has been scheduled for a while, unless they just threw that in on top. I mean, again, we could see some blowback from his actions over the holiday. Don't seek out witnesses and harass them and scream at them. It's kind of logical. Don't do it. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Don't freaking do it. I think the cult fails to realize you can't harass witnesses. When they harass me, they're lucky I don't go to the police station and say this is witness intimidation, because it's exactly what they're trying to do. It is pretty compelling. It is. It is. But there are, pros and cons to that. You know? All right, so let's go back. I'm not dealing with trolls today. Let's make that abundantly clear, okay? Everyone on planet Earth knows the story. There was nothing to expose. He got mad because I didn't lie for him, and he got caught lying. That's what happened. And I only changed my opinion after that, after evidence came out. So those two things don't correlate, because I didn't change my opinion right after. I didn't change my opinion until evidence came out. So there's that. So if you're going to troll today, Today, it's not the place, so you can go troll somewhere else. I don't know, it could be. The grand jury voted on 2 repeat witness oh, well, well, I've never harassed a juror a day in my life. In order to harass jurors, you have to actually engage with them, Jay. I don't engage with the jurors. I make my opinions on what the ridiculous things that they said, and I made, I think, 2 responses to the juror who publicly came out and said something. That's it. Here's the thing, if a juror publicly comes out and makes public comments in the public, people can respond and criticize things that they said. You're allowed to do that. Their jury service is over, and they publicly announce themselves to talk about it. You can't just pick and choose when you're mad because you don't like what someone said after that. Harassing would be consistently talking with them or consistently messaging them or consistent. I barely speak online, so sorry, Jay, but you might want to go troll somewhere else. Bye. It's amazing to me the shit these clearly is a troll, but it's amazing. They seem to think that a juror who publicly comes out on X and says ridiculous, nonsensical things, um, that she knows is hurting a family but doesn't seem to care because, that attention she needs, is harassment if you respond publicly to them. Yeah, that's not harassment. They say something, you can say something back. That's free speech, you know. I've engaged, I think, with the one juror maybe once or twice. Maybe you guys need to learn what harassment is. Never harassed a person a day in my life. Hence why I barely write anything online because I just have trolls that I just block. It does make for a good blocking spree, though. You know? Well, you have every right to feel that way, but intelligence of some of the things those jury members said, and that's my opinion. It's not attacking, it's my opinion. My opinion is they said some nonsensical BS things that clearly are very unintelligent. I have the right to that opinion. I don't know, good question. Ooh, girl, a book? You got me at my heart. I love books. I love books. What the hell? Hold on, guys. It's unfortunate, but I think those consequences take a while to catch up, you know? No, not that I know of. Maybe they just voted to charge and then indict on said charges. I don't know. Yes, they absolutely are. Yep. Oh, yeah, the judge definitely was. I agree with you, a huge part of the problem. I agree with you. I mean, it's not likely, but you never know, you know? Yeah, exactly. They have the option to stay anonymous and not say anything or talk to anyone. When you make public statements, you can't, get mad when someone responds to you once or twice. Hey, right? Not an opinion. Why would anybody have those? Right? Why would we change our minds with evidence? That would be crazy. That would be so crazy. I agree. Yeah, I have the Zoom on, but it's not his stuff. They're doing like a restraining order right now. It's just audio. We're not even getting any video. I don't understand why. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's to shut people up. Oh, that's nice of you, Lisa. I always tell her the same thing. Be safe out there, Trace. You drive so much, girl. I don't know how you do it. It's not. It's just trolls. They're just trolling. That's what they do. Aw, thank you, my cat, and I appreciate you, but this is my I don't care day. I didn't sleep for shit last night. It was very uncomfortable. My knees are killing me. They're in pain. I don't know if I mean, it did rain, so maybe that's arthritis and, fibromyalgia. Not fun. My chest was hurting. I have, myocarditis, so it's inflammation of your heart. I can hear it. I have it, but I don't think you guys wanna hear this. This is not the stuff yet. When it gets to him, I'll move it over to the screen so you guys can hear it, but this isn't it yet. Right? New information. Change your opinion with new information. What? Why would anyone do that? I mean, what? Oh, we're glad to have you. Maybe. Maybe it's a possibility. I mean, if I was them, but hey, you never know. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to see eye to eye on every tiny little thing to be friends. Isn't that amazing? Well, he's done it a multitude of times and walked out. So that's I mean, a lot of people have been saying like, "Hey, something fishy's going on," because nobody else would have walked out those doors as many times as he has when you're out on bail and you keep racking up more charges. I mean, I have no doubt that something fishy has been going on. No one else on planet Ear everyone else would have been locked up. It's that simple. I don't know yet. He's been charged quite a few times while out on bail. Yep, quite a few times. I hear you, my friend. I think we all are. They're doing a restraining order, I think, right now. Whoa. Some guy with 90 grams of coke and a warrant from California. That's what they're doing right now. 90. He said 90. Whoa. Whoa, guy. No, it's not the trial. It's just a hearing. Oh, yeah, everyone is. Everyone's part of the conspiracy. We're all on that list, you know? Girl, believe me, here. This is like nonsensical stuff. Oh, yeah, we're all everyone is. Now you're part for asking it. She's right. Now I Yep. Yeah. As soon as his stuff is called, I'll put it right up on the screen. Yeah, I mean, but there's nothing we can do about that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't again, I don't condone that kind of behavior, but there's nothing any of us can do about someone else doing any of those things, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but this is the kind of stuff we see online all the time, and it's gross. It's really gross. Yeah, but then the reason they don't do that for a reason, you know? They don't do that for a reason because then you have people like the cult that fabricate things to try to get people arrested and charged, and then they try to use the justice system as their own personal revenge machine. And so that's why they're very careful with making sure that it's not an automatic revocation and that they do actually look at the circumstances of what's going on, you know? But he has caught quite a few while being out on bail, so I mean, I agree with you guys, but nothing I can do other than dispel every time I do. It's not okay. No, not here. It's on X, I believe, because that's where I see most of the hate, honestly. I know. I try to give everybody, a chance because 'cause I'm not a shitty person. sometimes too many chances. They are low. Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Everybody's personal circumstances, that's a lot of the cult work. "Oh, you're poor. Oh, you're this. Oh, you don't have a new car. You don't." It's absurd. It's crazy, and it's not okay. We all know that. Unfortunately, we can't control what other people do. All we can say is that it's wrong. It's not okay to do, you know? It's not okay. I don't agree with it. I can say that again. I haven't. You gotta send that to me. Oh, she was just saying she's, Nebraska, right? Or Minnesota, did you say, Trace? Yeah, I mean, I can't control, obviously, anyone. I just always say, like, don't go out there and harass people. Don't go out there and hate watch people even, like, it's kinda weird. Girl, if you go to upstate New York, you have to come see me. Have to go have a girls' dinner or something. Listen, me and you have a girl date, a friend date, if you get that close to me. That's not to insinuate anything, it's to insinuate that maybe IQ tests are needed for jury. I mean, that's a realistic thing. Maybe IQ tests are needed for juries. That's I mean, there were some real concerning things that some of those jurors said that were very not super intelligent. So maybe we do need IQ tests for juries. It might be something we do need. I'm not again, that's someone's opinion, and then I don't disagree with that opinion. Do I think it'll ever happen? No. But do I think that maybe we need to look into how juries are chosen nowadays and that the people who are putting on these juries can understand the information that they're being given? Yes, I do. I do. I do think that the people who go on a jury should understand the information that they're being given, whether it's data from a phone or a car or any other kind of data that might be a little complicated. If you don't have the smarts to interpret that data and you don't know any of what was said, how do you factor that into a trial on someone's innocence or guilt, especially if it goes towards their innocence and the jury didn't understand any of it? That would be a serious problem. And I think it probably has been for some time now in many cases. It's a good point. What about all the ongoing harassment of the witnesses in this case? I have no idea, but he probably did. Right? That like, that's realistically, a lot of people's opinion, and that they're allowed to have that opinion. Like, exactly. That means you're no better than them, which is why I don't respond to them. I say what I need to say here, and I dispel things, and I say it's pathetic, like it is. But I don't even respond to these people. It's not worth my time or energy. When people spend their entire lives harassing other people online and making fake talk accounts to do it, it's a little weird. Hold on. Here it comes. Oh, yeah, he's being arraigned. Shit.
15th of 2025, the grand jury sitting in the County of Norfolk returned indictment number
Can you guys hear it?
2582CR00088, charging you as follows. Offense 1, charging intimidation of a witness, and offense 2, charging intimidation of a witness. Do you wish to waive the formal reading of these indictments?
Yes.
How do you wish to plead to each of these indictments?
Not guilty.
Thank you,
Of course.
sir. Is there a question of bail?
There's no question of bail, but I would ask the court to impose the same conditions that were imposed in the Stoughton District Court. And Mr. Brady will correct me if my memory is wrong. I believe it was no contact with the alleged victim and stay 100 yards away from his place of work and residence.
And what are the allegations on these, on this one?
Intimidation of a witness, Your Honor.
Yeah, but what's the nature of it?
This was the appearance outside.
Oh, outside the, waving in the pizza shop. Yeah, I remember this. All right.
Judge, that's agreed under Section 87.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. I'll impose that, Margaret.
Thank you.
Would you like me to do that now? wait stand.
Why don't you do that now? Just do them one at a
All right, the
time.
court recognizes you personally without surety with the following conditions. You are to have no contact, direct or indirect, with the victim in this case. And you are to stay away, have no contact, stay away 100 yards from the residence and the place of work of the complainant. Do you assent to those conditions, sir?
Yes.
And you're
Okay.
hereby notified if you're charged with a crime during the period of your release, the bail in this matter may be revoked in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 276, Section 58. Thank you.
All right, what else are we gonna do?
Judge, if I may jump in right there, just for the record, we filed 2 arraignment-related motions, Your Honor.
Okay,
Obviously, we can push those to another day with 2 small exceptions of just an order to preserve notes of investigators and to preserve video, if I may, Your Honor. I don't believe there's an objection.
okay. Yeah, those are both ordered. So
Thank
he's ordered, the Commonwealth's ordered to preserve notes of investigators and, to preserve video.
I don't know. I would have asked
What
for
else
the
can I
bail
do
to be
for you?
revoked.
For me or?
Why don't I start with you, Mr. Cosgrove? Go right ahead.
All right. So Your Honor, answered a discovery order the last time we were here. I made substantial progress on it. I can't say I fully complied with it, but I have about, let's see, somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 or 6,000 pages of discovery to provide Mr. Bradel today. And I had planned, Your Honor, to file that with a motion for a protective order, which I had served on Mr. Bradel with a couple of edits from the one I gave you.
Thank you.
And we have been going along with these, essentially tracking protective orders in the Karen Reed case, and in fact,
Cosgrove. Come on, man.
much of the material is duplicative of discovery turned over in the Karen Reed case, and I've pretty much followed their form protective order. These have all been allowed with the agreement of the defendant and without prejudice.
Okay.
I understand that Mr. Bradel wishes to bring that practice to an end as of today. I'm in a somewhat different position.
All right, let me hear from Mr. Bradel. Mr. Bradel,
Thank you, Your Honor.
give me your argument.
I appreciate it, Your Honor. Judge, the Karen Reed case is over with. It's moot. It's gone, okay? And my filing, Judge, entitled Aiden Carney's motion to release case documents from impoundment is what we're talking about here, Your Honor. So I asked the court last time, and we had so much business on the docket last time, I don't think we circled back on it. But I was asking to just release everything from impoundment, Your Honor. The fact that things are embarrassing or scandalous or cause negative light to be cast upon public officials, Your Honor, is not a reason to impound
Nobody
documents.
cares about that.
It's actually a reason to release documents. And that's really all the Commonwealth has left on the existing stuff, is that, you know,
please.
gee, this might make investigators look bad. This might make
No.
special prosecutors, present company accepted, look bad.
No.
This might, you know, cause
Very
selection
inappropriate.
shifts. And that's not a reason to impound things, Your Honor.
This isn't an argument. This is narrative.
Initially, we have sort of taken
What Bradel does,
taken
narrative.
the candy
He
from,
doesn't have real legal
you know,
arguments. He has
from
narrative.
the Commonwealth, and when they say, just, we'll give you
Shut it
this
down, but he
stuff,
doesn't.
but just agree to this protective
Never
order.
did.
So we want the stuff, but at some point, we have to get off of that train, Your Honor, you know? This is a case of immense public interest. This is a case of, you know,
Not enough
First
to get
Amendment
video.
issues, and I know we may disagree on that, but, you know, that's what our adversary system is for, and that's okay. And I think every case that eventually gets to the SJC or the Supreme Court starts with a trial judge maybe not agreeing with you, so that's okay. And, you know, that's what we have here. But in any event, Your Honor, I think we can agree that this case brings to the fore really important issues about what is
We all
witness
are,
intimidation, what is journalism, where does the First Amendment fit in? And,
First
you know,
Amendment doesn't
these
fit in.
text messages about, you know,
Yeah,
and
no video.
I'm trying to
Not
not
important enough for video,
speak
though.
of them in open court, but we all know what they say. And we all know that there's a public interest in shining some sunlight on these things.
And on you,
So-
Mr. Bradel.
We're not asking to, publish
They are
someone's address or someone's phone number.
Yeah,
We're
you are.
asking for the content of these communications that these folks have issued between and among each other. And the content of them per se has no persuasive power to make you want to impound them.
Let me ask Mr. Cosgrove.
Please.
What interest at the moment does impoundment serve?
Harassment? I don't know.
I've just been handed, 20 minutes ago, a fairly extensive motion suggesting that I have all kinds of various burdens to justify impoundment and citing a lot of case law.
You don't.
I would like an opportunity
Yeah, no,
to
of course.
file a written
Yeah, I'd give you that. Yeah, was a week enough?
I'd like a little more than that, Your Honor.
About 2 weeks.
All right.
There you go. I'll give you 2 weeks. I'll take it under advisement. And if you want to file anything else, Mr. Bradel, Mr. Betterow, you absolutely have every opportunity.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Okay.
And
Now,
Absolutely.
Your Honor, with respect to the items that I was going to turn over today,
So I'll allow the motion. Mr. Bradel, I'm up here.
sorry, Your Honor.
It's all right.
I thought I had a minute.
That's fine. You got to talk to your client. You got to talk to Mr. Betterow. My point is this. If you want the stuff today, I'll allow it without prejudice.
Sure.
And then I'll see what you have to say and what Mr. Cosgrove.
We have to take the candy.
That's fine.
All right. Please note our objection, but thank you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I will allow Mr. Cosgrove's motion without prejudice.
It is
and,
seriously concerning.
And I'll take any submissions that you have, and I'll give you a final answer probably in about 3 weeks.
Thank you very
Does
much.
that make
Your Honor.
sense? Okay.
And then, Judge, just to shift gears a little bit, there's some outstanding discovery that we've
Absolutely.
been talking about.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I want to start off, I know that the court's time can be much better spent in discovery disputes. So we talked about the idea that
Gross.
we would go to the DA's office, and to the extent there's items that the government says they've given us that we can't open up or figure out.
That's your problem, Mr. Bradel.
I think we're going to agree to go in person with our people and figure it out. So
Yeah, sure.
that's the first thing I want to say. But then, in addition, Your Honor, there's the
Yeah, exactly,
this
Tracy.
inventory that I
Fucking
filed.
enrages me. This isn't a
It's
joke
entitled Inventory of
at all.
Outstanding Items in Connection with our Third Motion to Compel.
Okay.
There's about 10 things, Your Honor, and I think,
Apparently.
unfortunately, that the government ought to go through and answer to us today about what the status of these things is. And we've been kind of going back and forth about these things for a long time. I looked back, Your Honor, and my first discovery request was February of 24. And second and third, were the months following. And in fairness, counsel for the Commonwealth was not the prosecutor of record at the time, but, the rules are the rules, and we need this stuff, and it's
No,
gone
sure
on
you
way too long. So these are the 10 things
Pretty much.
that I think are very important, and maybe 9.
Mr. Cosgrove, might you want to take that 2 weeks and respond to all of those,
could you give me an extra week, Your Honor?
an extra week?
Thank you.
All
Yeah.
right. But it is, Mr. Bradel makes a very good point.
Oh, does
As
he?
we all know, I think that it's important that the discovery be turned over so that we can bring a
What else do you think
timely
is important, Your
trial to
Honor?
the case.
Maybe people being
I don't
harassed
disagree with Your Honor.
relentlessly? I don't know.
Notwithstanding that Mr. Bradel has some complaints, and some of them may well be legitimate, there has been a substantial amount of discovery
Yeah.
turned over in this case.
Yeah. If you're turning over 5,000 pages today, it's a lot of discovery.
We appreciate it, Your Honor.
Okay, great.
Thank you. And Attorney Betterow has a number of items as well, Judge.
Mr. Betterow.
Thank you, Judge.
Why is
Just
this
going
funny?
back briefly to some of
At
the
all.
issues about impoundment,
Yeah.
there are some items that are
I'm not
currently
understanding.
under impoundment, which we believe ought to be released from impoundment, specifically messages from Michael Proctor and a civilian witness. Those messages were cited in our motion to dismiss. As the court is no doubt aware, Michael Proctor is terminated from the state police. He has been a matter of public interest with his involvement in both the Karen Reed case, which led to Mr. Carney's interest and ultimately, on some level, his indictment in this case. But also, those messages were impounded ostensibly for privacy interests, security interests, those sorts of things. Recently, Michael Proctor has been on a press tour on ABC News and NBC News, vigorously defending his investigative conduct. The messages that are at issue here, which are impounded, the public is entitled to see that. There is certainly a presumption of public access to those files. Michael Proctor has surrendered any privacy interest he has by addressing those issues, as has, the other civilian that we're talking about, who also recently appeared on national news with other members of her family defending her and her family's conduct in this case.
Conduct?
Those messages should be publicly available. If there's going to be information that's in the public realm, there's no reason why information that the prosecution wanted concealed from public view should be concealed any further. If the court likes, we can approach and show you the messages. I would suggest they are relatively straightforward, and there's no reason for those to be impounded at this time.
Okay. Anything you want to say to that, Mr. Cosgrove? I'm not going to give you another week.
Well, I would suggest it would make sense to take this up when we take up the other matter.
I think that makes sense too.
Yeah, I won't ask for another week. I won't ask for another day.
That's, why don't I do this? Why don't you all come up to sidebar? Let me take a look at what you need.
Exactly. It's all designed so they can further harass Michael Proctor and any other investigator in the case or anybody else's communications they want to release. It's all meant to embarrass, dog whistle, harass, intimidate. It's all the same thing over and over. And if this judge clearly cannot see that or seems to be so buddy-buddy with Bradel that he doesn't get it, well, that's a huge issue. That's a huge issue. Our justice system needs a really serious fucking overhaul in this state. It doesn't sit well with a lot of people. It hasn't sit well with a lot of us for a long time. Any one of us in this circumstance, indicted on 2 new charges of witness intimidation while being out on bail numerous times and been brought back in numerous times to be charged with new crimes, would be sitting in a jail cell. Let's just make that abundantly clear if it was anyone else. So something real fishy is going on here. That's my opinion. This is seriously disgusting. Very fucking concerning. You know, I wish they would too and do their damn job for once. Fix some of the shitstorm that they helped create with their nonsense. I have no idea who the civilian is. I have no idea. I agree with you, Laura, and it pisses me off. The new ones are, I think they're just the ones he was charged with the pizza shop, but he was indicted on them. So you have to be arraigned on the indictments. Yep. Maybe Jen. Yeah, it could be Jen. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, I'll tell you that much. But what really pisses me off is this isn't a fucking joke. These are people's lives. I continue to live this harassment daily. Okay? These are people's lives. It's not funny. It's not a joke by any stretch of the imagination. This is the same man that went and followed these people around the Cape and then tried to use, oh, well, my girlfriend's parents live down here as an excuse. They live all the way on the opposite side. They had no reason to be where they were. They knew that the witnesses were there before 4th of July. That is when they went there. They went out of their way to drive by Brian Higgins and harass him. If anybody else did that, you'd be sitting in a jail.
Mr. Betterow, the floor is yours. What else?
Thank you. Judge, one outstanding issue relates to the second of the 3 indictments that relates to Lindsay Gaetani. We moved and were granted a hearing to disqualify Mr. Mello from prosecuting that case because he is an essential witness in that matter. That issue was decided in September of 2024. A hearing was ordered in January of 2025. For reasons which the court is familiar with, that hearing has been put off. Nevertheless, we're looking to move this forward, and the issue is not resolved, and we're led to believe that Mr. Mello will not voluntarily withdraw.
You're in the wrong place.
For whatever reason, we need to do this hearing. We believe that he's going to be a defense witness in this case. We're getting discovery between him and another civilian witness today, which I think is going to further that application and very likely make him even more a prosecution witness. And we just can't kick this can down the road for close to a year. So we would like to schedule a date for Mr. Mello to either appear,
Yeah, they have to.
be examined under oath, explain the consequences, which the court, again, is probably familiar with. He was contacted by the complainants during the alleged crime repeatedly, 4 or 5 times over the course of that day. Instead of the police being called, he was an ear witness to these allegations.
Bullshit.
Respectfully, he needs to come in here, answer these questions so the court can issue a decision as to whether he's going to be allowed to continue or whether we can go through the process of subpoenaing him and any other items that might be of assistance to us with calling him as a witness.
Mr. Cosgrove.
Could I inquire if Mr. Mello is online?
I do not see him. Attorney Mello, last time he did use his name, there is no one with his name on there this time.
Can I approach?
Of course, come on up.
He has cancer. He's dying. Okay. I highly doubt you're getting him to come in as a witness. Never mind the fact that he's not a witness. He's not a witness to anything. It's really sad. It's a sad state of affairs. That's what the fuck it is. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button if you already didn't. Hit the subscribe button if you already didn't. See a lot of you today that I haven't seen in a while, so I miss you guys. It's nice to see you guys. If you'd like to support the channel, you can get yourself a membership. We have memberships now. We have super chats, super stickers, and also the most direct ways to support the channel are these ways. Of course, I didn't do this in the beginning because it's kind of just talking, but Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Revolut, and there's a link in chat that's pinned that you can use to just use credit or debit. I agree with you, Yankee. I mean, what's the whole point, you know? I think Cosgrove isn't incompetent. He's a retired judge. I think he's too old to handle a case that is a fluent internet case that consists of every single day evidence and crimes happening. He's just too old. He doesn't know anything about the internet at all. He said that in the last hearing, and I'm like, why do we have somebody who doesn't? Hey, Dina, nice to see you. Welcome. They can't even feel safe out of town, though, Kodo. They can't even go out of town on vacation, for the 4th of July, where they always go, mind you, and be with their loved ones and their family without being harassed and screamed at and pictures taken of them. It's disgusting. Does anybody have a life these days? They're just like, oh, let me scream and harass people I've never met and don't know because a sewer turtle told me they were bad and they committed crime when there's no evidence to support that whatsoever. Doesn't exist. Okay. The feds investigation and found nothing. Yes, he has cancer. He has cancer. He is very sick. Very, very sick. Heartbreakingly sick. Which is what I'm...
Mr. Betterow, you said you had one more
think
thing.
that they're probably talking.
Yes, Judge. Just as it relates to discovery,
He can't. It's a conflict.
we have made a series of discovery demands from the prosecution ranging from October of 2024. As of this date, not including whatever was filed today, we have made 4 very thorough, detailed discovery demands sourced regarding contacts between a civilian named Catherine Peter and the state police and the district attorney's office regarding her very unique relationship in all matters involving Mr. Carney. Those demands, which again are in the files, Mr. Cosgrove has them outline in detail her frequent contacts with the state police, with people that are prosecutors,
Anybody's allowed to call the
statements that she has made under oath in court proceedings stating
What?
that she helps authorities get
Yeah,
Mr.
as
Carney,
in call
voice
and say, here,
recordings that she
here's
has
some
left
evidence.
Mr. Carney, indicating that she provides information to them. So we have asked for any discovery
Attorney
related
Mello.
to Ms. Peter going on about a year. Now, today, for the first time, we are admittedly getting something that relates to her communications with Mr. Mello. I'll only note that all materials that relate to Ms. Peter and the prosecution were
I
ordered
agree
by
with
the
you,
court
Sarah.
in early
I
May
don't
to
know.
have been provided within 20 days. That didn't happen. We got stuff today. That's
Bingo.
fine. But the real issue here is that in light of the change in Rule 14 from last March, the game is very different than it might have been
Pretty much.
before in terms of what the prosecution is obligated to do and what I don't believe they've done in this case,
Thank you.
which is go to every member of the prosecution team, which is everyone in the district attorney's office, any of the state police who are involved in these matters,
love
which
you.
includes Michael Proctor at the time, Yuri Buchanan, Lieutenant Tully, Fanning. There's a whole list of them.
Oh, please.
The
Yeah,
Karen
it's
Reed
everyone but
prosecutors
him.
who are also covered,
Got
who
it.
got a little bit involved, as the court is aware, in Mr. Carney's case, and may or may not have had a relationship with her too. She has made statements allegedly indicating some involvement in that case.
Please.
The rule requires the prosecution, whether they credit the information or not, to contact each individual that is on the prosecution team and make an inquiry and find out whether there is any material and disclose it. We don't think
What?
that has happened. We respectfully submit that
This
is
is
something
gross.
that Mr. Cosgrove has to do. In particular, I would draw the court's attention to testimony that was given by a member of the state police in February of 2024, which led to a wiretapping charge against Mr. Carney, in which Fanning of the
Not
state
really.
police
No.
stated under oath that they received a recording, a 30-second recording from Catherine Peter, that it was given to Lieutenant Tully and then given to Fanning, and we have no evidence of that. We don't have a copy of the recording.
Doesn't exist.
We were given the wrong recording in that regard. We have no police reports. We have no communications. We have nothing. If they don't exist, they don't exist, but they're
Doesn't
obligated
exist, bro.
to look for it, make the inquiry,
Yes.
and report back and say whether any of this exists or not. And the last thing I'll note on that point, under the new rule, it doesn't matter whether the prosecutor credits
She has nothing
any
to
of
do
this,
with it.
thinks
Nothing.
it's nonsense, thinks it might be real. They're obligated to do it, and we simply ask respectfully
What?
that the court instruct the
The
prosecution
court
to do that.
instruct them to do
And
things that
disclose
no normal
whatever evidence
prosecution
ought to be
does.
disclosed, or make a statement on the record
What?
that there is nothing to disclose.
There
And if that's
is
the case,
limitations.
then we'll all live and die with the
Whatever.
consequences of that statement.
Okay, Mr. Cosgrove.
Exactly.
Largely been done.
Is that
We
part
are.
of the 5,000 pages that you're turning over?
It is, among the things turned over is the email from Catherine Peter to Brian Tully providing that
An email.
30-second clip.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fine. So that seems to solve that. You said that you had some.
Not
things you
an
wanted to
email
bring
to a
up. Go right
state
ahead.
police
Yes,
officer giving
yes.
evidence.
So,
Oh, no.
this will be an opportunity, Your Honor, for myself and Mr. Betterow to
Like what?
do an absolute 180 on our positions on disclosure of impounded documents. Your Honor will recall that the last time we were here, attached to a discovery motion was an affidavit.
Oh, yeah.
And at that time,
It was before.
it was initially
Cosgrove.
filed provisionally without hearing from the Commonwealth. Was impounded upon, I believe, not the affiant's representation,
Sure
but
could.
I think Mr. Bradle's representation that the affiant was in fear that there would be some sort of retaliation by the Commonwealth. I think Your Honor will recall the fairly outrageous, if I can put it that way, representations that were made by the affiant.
Yep.
I believe now, as I
It is.
moved at the time, that affidavit should either be stricken or that the impoundment order should be lifted. I don't believe an affiant should be allowed to accuse an assistant DA of jury tampering and
Nope.
a district attorney of having secret meetings with witnesses and
Nope.
all these other things, and then hide behind an impoundment order.
Nope.
Let me hear from the other side. Mr. Betterow.
Yes, a couple things that I think ought to be corrected. The affiant is not alleging what happened. The affiant is alleging under oath that she was told by
I would
another
take that as
individual who we
pretty
were
threatening.
discussing earlier what happened. That's the first point. The second point is that document
Exactly,
was
Toto.
attached as an
Don't be a victim.
exhibit
You'll be in
to
trouble.
a discovery demand.
That's exactly it.
Discovery demand number 4, alleging more reason to believe that there is an obligation for the prosecution to look into possible discovery
Hey, Holly.
that is in their possession, custody, or control. If that affidavit
Please.
were to be stricken, that means literally nothing. They are still obligated to do whatever it is they had to do. And at the time that that motion was discovered until
The
20
fake.
minutes ago, absolutely nothing has been turned over regarding this person who brags about working for the authority. So I don't know the relevance
It's
of
not working
doing
for the authorities to
anything
call them and
one
give
way
them
or the
evidence.
other
Anybody can
with
do that.
respect
It's
to the
legal and
affidavit. Now,
encouraged if you have
that
evidence
person
of a
may very
crime.
well have a privacy interest because the day after that affidavit was filed, her apartment was essentially covered in personal information about herself
Bingo.
that could have only come from someone with access to law enforcement. And almost certainly
What?
that individual was subjected to charges of witness tampering,
Fake.
which I believe
By the way.
were actually under investigation and may still very well be. I can't go farther than that. I don't know.
Please.
Somebody, whoever did this, wrote snitch on her door. So I would suggest in this situation, impoundment of her name is more
Everybody knows her name already.
than appropriate.
We know who
Okay.
she is.
I'd just make 2 points in response. One, I don't think it's entirely true that the affiant was simply relying on recounting hearsay.
That's right.
If she was, that would say something about the credibility of the affidavit as well.
Yep.
But I seem to recall, Your Honor, that at least one point, the affiant represented that she was present
She did.
when Ms. Peter, I believe it was having a phone conversation with Hank Brennan.
did.
And that she, the
And
affiant,
that never happened.
recognized Hank Brennan's voice because
Yep.
she was familiar with it.
Yep.
So I don't think it was simply a matter of hearsay.
No, it was
The
not.
second thing I'd say is that the identity of this person is all over the internet, and was all over the internet at the time
Well, it
it
did
was
to
before
Cosgrove.
you the other day.
This guy.
I don't know what the interest is, given those circumstances,
Facts.
in concealing it in the court papers.
Judge, I'm sorry,
And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Could I just add one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with you, Jen. What the hell?
Apparently, these things that were affixed to her door in her apartment building, which is the same apartment building that Ms. Peters lives in. And I think the implication
No,
was
they
made
didn't.
at the time.
No, they didn't.
No,
they
First
didn't.
of all,
You need to stop doing
that
that. No,
event
they
was
didn't.
publicized by Mr. Kearney on the internet with photographs of the door in question. And I guess I would just question, Your Honor, the
Being real? Yeah.
source of those documents, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yep.
Very quickly, Your Honor, in terms of this individual's name being on
Exactly.
the internet, there are 2 reasons for that. The first is because Ms. Peter identified her publicly and led to this kind of harassment. The other reason, And this
Oh,
was
really?
no question a mistake.
What does your client do,
But
sir?
Mr. Cosgrove mentioned her name accidentally, and no question, no malintent, but her name was stated in open court, and as you can see, people watch in court, online, and whatnot. So the fact that her name had been put out
I know.
accidentally through no fault, with no malintent, is not a reason, I think, to just open up the affidavit
Why
to her
not?
name.
She lied in an
Thank you all.
affidavit.
So we have a date for, what was that, August? What was the date, Megan?
August 13th for
August
discovery
13th.
compliance.
Right.
And then we'll pick a date for the other issue.
Oh,
Am I
yeah, he
correct,
slipped
Mr.
up
Cosgrove?
hard.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the month?
Now, or do you want to pick it on?
Why don't we pick it on the 13th? I think that makes sense.
All right, I may have some, I'm sorry, I should be standing.
That's
Pretty
okay.
much,
I,
yeah, like a dumbass.
I may have some information about,
That's fine.
the health status at that time.
All right. We'll see you all on August 13th.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
One more, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I believe we have an agreement, Mr. Bradel has responded relative to the source code for accessing the search of the devices.
Yep.
And he's indicated it was the same source code previously provided Lieutenant Tully, and that he would supply it again if necessary. And I've indicated to him that that's appropriate, and I think he should supply it today.
So,
And I
Mr.
don't think
Bradel-
there's a disagreement with that.
All right. You don't disagree with that, do you?
Sure.
Yeah, all right, good. I'll see you August 13th.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
13th. Cool. Hold on. Let me get this off the screen.
We have any lobbies we could go?
Yeah, we're gonna take that. We'll take it across the
Yes.
street.
Hold on.
Get out of it. Just get out of
I'm
it.
not aware that, I'll check on that. I know I saw
I'll send it
something
to you,
where
Tracy,
she
after
said
the live.
in a text message to this Jean lady, this message she said,
Okie dokie then. Well,
Thanks.
hot mic, yeah, I heard it. That's why I didn't cut it off yet.
Okay, next is for the court number 18, Palmol versus Lokeshwar Chinsak Kunta. I apologize for that.
All right. Done with that. Wow. Wow, just wow. I have a lot of thoughts on that. No, we weren't supposed to be hearing that. That's the lady's name. That's her name. That was a hot mic. A lot of stuff going on in that. Yeah, I mean, there's no date for the trial. Obviously, they're still dealing with discovery and trying to actually demand things that don't exist and things that they have no right asking prosecutors to do, which is just absurd. Grave sends $20 for Geritol for Cosgrove. Thank you, Grave. I appreciate you, my friend. First donation of the live stream. I appreciate you. Thank you. If any of you guys want to donate to the channel, I'd appreciate it. We only rely on donations from you guys to support the channel. So you can do one of a bunch of different things. You can get yourself a membership. You can like, you can subscribe, you can share the videos, you can directly donate. We have PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Revolut for those of you who are out of country with no fees, I am told, and a link over in the chat that is pinned that you can use your credit or debit card for if you have none of the payment apps. Yeah, I can sum it up. Well, what just happened was this. Nothing just happened. They bitched and whined about discovery, asked for things that don't exist, and then went on to argue about the lady who made the ridiculous affidavit. Okay, now mind you, an affidavit you're signing under penalties of perjury, right? Aiden's team is now saying that that affidavit is all hearsay, that all of it is just hearsay that she heard. That's not how she wrote the affidavit. She literally wrote the affidavit and said Kate Peter had a phone call with Hank Brennan. Hank Brennan has never spoken to Kate Peter ever. So that would be a bold-faced lie. Now, they got this woman to lie for them. And I'm guessing one of a couple ways: threatening, intimidating, or fear. Fear of outing her and making her feel uncomfortable with Aiden doing a blog on her if she doesn't cooperate with them and say what they want her to say. They thought that they were going to get something out of that. They thought that it would produce Kate's phone, and they thought that they could just make something up to get into Kate's phone and ask for her phone, which is utterly ridiculous and absurd, and makes no logical sense whatsoever. The fact that his attorneys just argued, okay, this is what his attorneys just argued, that because Attorney Mello accidentally said the woman's name in court inadvertently, that it shouldn't be, they still shouldn't unseal the affidavit. So the public still should not be able to see this ridiculous affidavit that this woman wrote filled with lies. They should not be able to see it with her name or what she wrote on it. It still should be impounded. Federal fucked up by saying, well, that was intended, her name, it was intended to harass and intimidate her. Sir, saying her name publicly made harassment and intimidation happen. That is what he said. Sir, that's what your client's here for, sir. You just argued against your own client, sir. You just argued that saying people's name publicly is a way to intimidate and harass them. Not a very good attorney, if you ask me. My attorney wouldn't have made that fuck up. Just saying. Just saying. That's a pretty bad fuck up. Like, you just argued against your own client and the whole reason why he's there to begin with. Like, what? They want to hide her identity. We all know it anyway, but that's not the point. It's like again, Bradel doesn't ever have a legal argument. What he has is narrative. And if the judges that have stopped him on his narrative, like Mr. Bradel, that's not a legal argument. That's a narrative, right? He actually doesn't know how to argue. He stumbles and stutters, and he can't do a legal argument without adding in narrative. Narrative is not part of a case. Things that you just add in for shock value and things that are not true, that's a huge problem. Okay? Huge problem. I have a real big problem with thinking something fishy has been going on for quite some time when it comes to not just his attorney, because he's a shady dude, in my opinion, a very shady dude. There's a reason why he's facing the BBO and could very well lose his license as an attorney if there is any justice for the other case he had where he hid evidence and lied about it. As a prosecutor, that person stayed in jail for a very long time. So he did. Yeah, he did. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind in the comments here. I'm going to try to skip down a little. It just doesn't make any logical sense to me that they sat there and argued this. I think we've seen this a couple of times, though, and what they were doing was to get the judge they wanted. They were doing things like asking judges to recuse themselves because they had worked with one of the prosecutors, forever ago, decades ago on a case or in the same office or whatever. That same energy should apply to Mr. Bradel and the judge. Should recuse himself if he's ever worked with Bradel, and I think he has. So, but that's what they did to try to judge shop. To get the judge they wanted, they have done things like, oh, well, I'm on vacation that week, Your Honor. It's going to have to be after that. And then, of course, when the judges rotate out, he knows that judge is not on the bench anymore, so it'll give him a different judge. So they've been judge shopping this entire time. Thank you, Kodo. Playing games. That's what they do. They've been using the justice system as their own personal revenge machine for quite some time. They've made up evidence, and there are plenty of people in this chat that can attest to this, literally made up evidence, used fake accounts to write fake emails, make fake numbers appear as if they're your number, calling other people, doing all these things, bringing these fake things that they know are fake into court and trying to use it as a weapon against other people. That's sick. That's sick. And it's also a crime. That is a crime. That's tampering. That is a crime. It's a couple of crimes. If you could be charged with a couple of things, there's a whole long story that goes with that, Elaine. It just is, unfortunately, I do. It's long and not really for the internet, but I do know the origins of it. Listen, you don't have to like each other, but you don't have to blast everything online all the time. Like, I might not be a fan of some of these people either, but I don't sit here and, you know what I mean? It's not necessary. It's just, thank you, Tracy. Okay, so most of them are witness intimidation, wiretapping. He has one wiretapping. Most of them are witness intimidation, wiretapping, and then picketing. And the only ones dropped were the picketing and the witness intimidation against the officers that were involved. All the other ones stayed. So, yeah, like what? It absolutely was a lie fed to the cult in order for them to have a talking point. 100% it was. We all know that, We all know that. We all know that. Let's see. That's another problem we have. It's why our judges should be voted in and out as well by us and not appointed, Yeah, by accident. That was an accident, obviously. Oh, does it? I didn't know that ChatGPT did that. See, I don't use that stuff usually, so. No, the point is that they wanted it still impounded. That's the point. And, well, if her name's out there and people know, why does it need to be impounded? Oh, it's not raining here yet, but that means it's coming. If it's raining where you are, I'd give it maybe 5 or 10 minutes before it starts pouring here. Yeah, that's why I have conspiracy chairs. We call my chairs conspiracy chairs because Kate got a couch, and there was a whole joke about that because nobody bought her a couch. She bought herself a couch. And so when Alma sent me my chairs, we called them the conspiracy chairs. I know. I freaking know. It does feel like it's going to be a long time. And justice does move extremely slow, guys. That's kind of just the way it works, unfortunately. I can't answer that here, unfortunately. Thank you, Kodo. You're the best. I can attempt it. If Kodo, can you email it to me so I can open my email and put it? I have my emails, I think, opened right now, or at least most of them, because I'm not signed into Discord on my computer. I'm only signed into Discord on my phone. That's what it seems like, right? Well, apparently, he said, oh, there's a lot of public interest and it's blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, we couldn't even get like an actual like picture, like video. Obviously not that important if we couldn't even get video, We do have some of those here in Massachusetts. That's not a shock to anyone, It's unfortunate. Well, the prosecution is an older guy. That's half the problem. The guy that doesn't know the internet very well, he definitely needs some help. You can't expect an older guy, who has no idea about the internet to take a case that's based largely on the internet, This doesn't make sense. Hi, Val. Right. Oh, is it that bad? Yeah, not yet. Any minute now, I'm betting that's what's going to happen here. If it's happening to you, you're only like, a little shortly away from me. So it's definitely hot here today. But rain, god damn it. No wonder why my knees hurt so bad and I couldn't sleep last night. Again, that's going to be a process that's going to take time. Like the BBO has to look into what happened here in Massachusetts when they were practicing here. Thank you, Kodo. But it's not It's not something that happens right away. It takes a lot of time, unfortunately. And that's kind of the part that pisses everyone off, which is like, why does it need to take so much time for something like that? Something like that, especially an attorney. If an attorney is lying or doing something like that, it shouldn't have to be months or years before something happens, because then they're practicing that entire time. What more harm are they doing, and not being overseen or not getting that license suspension for doing the things that they have done if it takes months or years to go through the BBO, look into it, suspend the license, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't make sense. Hold on. I'm trying to get it out of my email for you guys real quick. Hold on. I'm getting into my email for you guys. Okay. Oh, God. Why does it do this? Send me a pin to get into my own damn friggin' email. Come on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. So when the jury, when we were talking about the jury and IQs and stuff, we're talking about also Alan Jackson saying that he didn't want people like high IQ level on the jury for Karen. He wanted people who weren't engineers. What does that tell you? You know what I mean? All right, come on, email. I'm trying to get that thing up for you guys. Hello, McFly. Gmail. Here we go. Okay, ready? I'm going to bring you guys this tab instead here. Hold on one second. All right, listen carefully. This is where you hear it. So listen.
Two reasons for that. The first is because Ms. Peter identified her publicly and led to this kind of harassment and led to this kind of harassment. The other reason, and this was
really?
no question.
Sorry, I had to pipe in there for a second, but this is the nonsensical BS that we deal with, folks. These idiots, okay? Mello's sick, unfortunately, anyway. But thunderstorm warning. You got it, lady. I mean, there is a chance it's just to take a really long time. The civil cases, that's something people are gonna have to do. They're gonna have to deal with all those too. All the civil cases that eventually will be coming for people. It doesn't. I promise you, it doesn't. It's embarrassing for our judicial system here. And what bothers me the most is this is Norfolk County. And, there are other counties in this state that would never put up with this kind of stuff. It just seems to be that Norfolk County seems to put up with it. Oh, yeah. Well, it's an argument that saying somebody's name publicly gets them harassed, intimidated. Isn't that exactly what you're dealing with when it comes to your client, Mr. Betterow? Isn't that why you're there? Because your client put people's numbers and emails and addresses online and accused them of things that they didn't do and have no evidence to support it at all, and incited his mob of people to then harass those people? You know what I'm saying? Maybe, but at the same time, they've failed the victims enough. I don't think they can. You know what I mean? I don't think they can. He is a little guy, he's just a little guy. Oh, I can't. Well, he's got cancer, so he definitely can't help. He's sick. He's very sick. They definitely, it's something they've been dealing with for a long time. The civil cases isn't something they're just starting right now. They started these a while ago. So, Dumb and Dumber. It's amazing to me that you make an argument about harassment. It's just discovery. It's really just, text messages, emails, just discovery stuff. Sad, but they think that they're going to find some treasure trove of stuff they can twist into a conspiracy. Problem with that is no conspiracy happened and it doesn't exist. Because as you guys know, he likes to claim he's just innocent. It's all, it's everybody else but him. And he has done nothing. He did nothing. He did nothing at all. Nothing. He's an angel that did nothing. And it's all some grand conspiracy once again. And that's what they're looking. They're looking for anything to twist to be like, oh, they were already going after him. No, they were going after him because he was committing crimes. It's kind of how it works. Did he? I haven't seen any pictures of him because we didn't get any video. Because again, even though Mr. Brittle wants to say it's so attention getting, everybody wants to see it. We didn't even get video. Okay. The mainstream media could not be cared enough to go into the courtroom and actually, I don't know, get footage. We had Zoom with no video. So obviously not that important. Oh, damn. Yeah, mine are off right now anyway. Insane to me. It's just insane. It doesn't make any logical sense to me at all. At all. But that's discovery, my friend. That's what he's handing over for discovery. So what they thought is they're going to get some vast discovery where Kate and Mello and Hank Brennan had some grand conspiracy to frame the turtle. Problem with that is that doesn't exist and that never happened and nobody framed him. He did it all to himself. When you harass people, there are consequences for that. I encourage nobody to harass anyone because that is what happens. There's free speech and then there's going over the line. When you're putting out people's personal information, like their phone numbers, their addresses, you're accusing people doing things they didn't do just because you're jealous or angry, or you want to twist the narrative because you don't want to admit things that you lied about. This is the result of that. This is literally the result of that. This is all because he could not take responsibility for anything. He can't take responsibility for any of the things he's done to people. Okay. Don't harass people, dude. Don't seek people out to harass them. Why? For what reason? I've met quite a few of you in public and even some people who believe Karen's innocent, except the people who believe Karen's innocent that I see in public don't act like rabid animals. Just saying. They don't act like rabid animals. Funny enough. Some of them hate him, can't stand him. They think he is a stain on society and what he has done and talked about the O'Keefe family. The way he talks about the O'Keefe family is just disgusting. So you're mad at the people who lost their loved one because they don't believe your wackadoo conspiracy theory with no evidence to support it. Okay, M. William Phelps, begged Aiden to give him anything. Give me anything, any evidence that would support this conspiracy argument. Aiden, give me anything at all. Anything. And William Phelps gave him the opportunity. Anything. You know what he had? Nothing. He had nothing to support ridiculous conspiracy theory. Because it doesn't exist. It's not a thing. There's no conspiracy. He did it to himself. You showed up at those people's houses yourself. You showed up at their kids' games yourself. No one told you to do that but you. The dog whistles that he's been doing for the witnesses the entirety of this time, he used long before the Karen Reed case existed. This is a dog whistle he's been using with his mob of followers for a long time. Why they haven't clued themselves into that yet? Well, I refer back to yesterday's show. We talked about when you're in a cult, you don't know you're in a cult. When you're brainwashed, you don't realize you're brainwashed until after you're not brainwashed anymore. It's really that simple. It's unfortunate, but the wackadoo conspiracy theories that run around there, like 17 different people are all one fake stock account, like nobody over here, at least that I know, cares that much to do anything like that. Okay? They don't. They just don't. Why? For what reason? What purpose does it serve? At all. It doesn't serve any purpose. I'm not going to make 5 sock accounts so that I can harass people. That's really not only childish, but disturbing. Seriously disturbing behavior from a grown adult. What in the actual hell is going on? I can understand having one different account that is separate and apart from your own, like, personal one. But other than that, and even just like, are you scrolling? What are you using it for? If you're using it to harass people, it's a whole nother thing. There's no reason for that. None at all. It's a waste of time. You're just going to get yourself in trouble doing something fucking stupid. But once again, it doesn't really matter in apparently Massachusetts what you do or don't do, because apparently even if you're a witness or a victim or a potential witness or a victim, at least Norfolk County isn't going to help you. And it's unfortunate, but I think Norfolk County has really failed the victims and the witnesses in that case a lot, you know. Well, if he does, he's going to have to be in protective custody anyway, like he was last time. It's far too many people that don't like him. That's why he asked to be in protective custody last time. I mean, I don't know anybody else who racked on extra charges after being out on bail that wouldn't be in jail cell right now. It's usually how it works. I mean, people are in jail cells that don't belong in jail cells. But yet, we have this idiot walking around stalking people still. Okay, still. Getting drunk, making bad decisions, and stalking people. I don't know, maybe in my, thoughts, I thought maybe for the 4th of July, people will be normal, right? Everybody will spend time with their families and get along and not seek people out to harass, right? Actually just spend time with their families and, like, chill. How wrong I was to think that human beings can actually do that without acting like wackadoos if you are following a certain sewer turtle. What in your brain would ever make you think it is okay or adult type behavior to go out and seek out people that he says are bad and take pictures of them, yell at them, take video of them? Because make no mistake about it, okay? If that was the reverse scenario, and what is being done to these people, or anyone for that matter, that says that, they think Karen is guilty or that he is guilty, if it was a reverse scenario and the people here were doing what they do, they would be at the police station every day screaming that the police help them, that they're being harassed and intimidated. And it's amazing to me that they so quickly dismiss anything that happens to other people that they're doing. But the second that someone actually does make just a comment, they're like, harassment, harassment, harassment. Like, that's not how it works. Not how it works. Okay. Harassment is incessantly posting about somebody every single day, or following them to where they're going to be located, or taking pictures of them. That's stalking and cyber stalking, and video and screaming things at them. Now, mind you, most of these people don't even know any of the witnesses, any of the victims, any of the anything that have anything to do with it. They were just told to not like them. If you have to be told not to like someone by someone else, then you can't think for yourself. It's really, really that simple. Then you cannot think for yourself. And that's a damn shame. That's a goddamn shame in 2025 that we have people actually following the lead of someone else instead of thinking for themselves. Every one of you should be making your own decisions, not making a mob decision that because one person said they're bad, or 2 or 5 or even 100. Because it starts with one. It starts with one. It started with him saying this person is bad, or that person is bad, or this. And this is stuff he did long before the Karen Reed case existed, guys. Okay? Long before it existed. This is bad. That's bad. This person's not good. That person's not good. It's absurd. And that snowballs to 100, to 500, to 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 people. And then they're all repeating the same thing. Well, that's a form of abuse, actually. It's to push people's buttons over and over and over and over. And then when they do react, be like, oh my God, they're the bad person. It's an abuse tactic. It's a way to keep pushing and pushing and pushing someone until they snap. And then when they do snap, be like, look at how crazy they are. Look at how insane they acted. One human is only meant to deal with so much. You cannot push somebody to their limit over and over and over and over and expect that no reaction is ever going to occur, right? It's not the way it works. So that is what they try to do. They try to bait people into reacting and then being like, see, we're the victims. We told you, after they tortured and tortured and tortured people over and over and over, and that person finally reacts, then it's, oh, shame on the person for reacting, which is so crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. That is how abuse works. That's how coercive control works, folks. They can't go anywhere. I can't imagine. I don't have that problem where I live. Everybody, where I live is nice, Yes, reactive abuse. Exactly. It's amazing to me because there are places in Massachusetts where people can act like normal human beings. It actually does exist where people can act like normal human beings. But when you are led by someone so angry and so vile and so egotistical and narcissistic, and that's what you follow, you start to take on those traits thinking that you're going to get a pat on the back from that person, right? Oh, that person's going to love that I did this funny, torturous, awful, mean thing. So I'm going to keep doing it because he's going to keep patting me on the back. Or one of his minions, high top minions, are going to pat me on my back. So like, hey, it's worth it. It's worth it. And that's the only way he feels power, is by controlling other people, using coercive control over other people, whether it's, veiled threats or dog whistles or actually trying to blackmail and threaten people. All of those things are a form of coercive control. It's to use and abuse someone. It's unacceptable. It's a crime, and it is not okay. People need to start thinking for themselves. They need to start thinking for themselves and realizing that their behavior is not okay. That is not okay. That behavior is not normal. Normal people don't take their cues from a dude online that just spews nonsense 24/7. They don't. They just do not. They might watch someone's YouTube video, but they sure as hell don't go, oh, I watched that YouTube video today and that guy said these people are terrible and awful. There's no evidence to support that, but I'm just going to go with that. What makes you think it's not a personal vendetta or some sort of issue he has with them? That is the biggest thing that he has done this entire time, is even the people around him, all eventually he lies about. Eventually, there's a reason why the circle around him changes every so often. And it's because he uses, abuses, and discards anything he doesn't want. If he gets jealous of you or upset that you did something that he thought he should have been able to do, guess what? He's going to tell the world you're bad, and he's going to make up reasons on why. Doesn't matter how much he has to lie. He doesn't care, as long as you don't out him. So if he makes you look bad first, right, nobody will listen to you when you tell them the things that he has done. He'll just say, oh, they're just doing that because I exposed them. That's what he's been doing for years. I exposed them, so they're just saying stuff now to get back at me because I exposed them. It's been his playbook for years. Try to push someone first and say they're bad first before they can ever tell the world what you did. The fact that nobody picked up on that pattern, and some of these people still haven't picked up on that pattern, is the concerning part to me. It goes back, the pattern goes back years, and I mean years, guys, absolutely years, long before this case ever existed. This is the same type of behavior that he's been doing forever. His obsession with Kate is weird, okay? It's weird, bro. You can't blame Kate for your fucking problems. It's not Kate's fault that you did X, Y, and Z. Kate calling the Massachusetts State Police or emailing them evidence is anybody can do that. Anyone on plane. That's not working with them like, oh, they're letting me into the office. I'm using their computers. And that's absurd. Working with, as in sending them things that anybody on planet Earth, like, I'm going to see all the crimes that you put it on video and I'm going to send it. Anybody can do that. Anyone. So to try to use that to be like, well, Kate Peters working for Kate Peters has never spoken to Hank Brennan on the phone. It's just a bold-faced lie. So that lady that wrote that affidavit full of bullshit lies, what's going to happen to her? What's going to happen to her? You know? Oh, there's a lot of people that need some of that help. I'll tell you that much. I feel like everybody needs therapy all around. Therapy's a good thing, folks. It is, okay? I appreciate you, Yankee Gal, for your donation. Appreciate you, my friend. Also, thank you again, Tracy. I mean, they are arguing and requesting things they have argued against. Absolutely. You're not too far behind and you're not crazy. You are absolutely 100% right. Howie Carr is a fucking disgrace. And that I don't even know why that guy is even still flapping his gums at this point. Like, oh, yeah, send him to Holden where they're super. The Holden PD themselves should be ashamed of themselves. They've been used as a weapon for years. For years, they've been used as a freaking weapon against people that Aiden doesn't like. He'll go to the Holden PD and he'll say, "Hi guys, you guys know me? Ah, ha, ha, me, it's me." And even if they say no, we're not going to charge that person, he'll just keep coming back and go back and go back and go back and go back until they actually do. He'll aggravate them until they're like, "Oh, we'll just do it to get them off our back." The problem with that is that's not the way justice works. You don't just do it because somebody keeps coming back even after you told them no. And even the Leominster court clerk in one of Kate's hearings, and this is on video, said that he was highly concerned at the way that the Holden PD had been used against people. I'd be concerned too. They should know better. You should know when someone's trying to manipulate you in the justice system as a whole. You know? Yeah, I can't do the mainstream media because it to me, they've been drinking the Kool-Aid and they're only going to report on the things that they think are going to help them, right? They're never going to report on the things that matter or the actual, narrative of what's actually going on. They only want to put in what is going to bring them ratings or what they think people want to hear or is popular. And I've learned that through this case that the mainstream media has a serious issue with not reporting on things that they should be and vice versa. And I just can't trust them anymore because I know how many times they lied when it came to this trial. I know how many times they have not covered something that's, hurting people and important that they should be covering and just completely ignored, even when it was brought to their attention. It's utterly disgusting. I think I'm really kind of disgusted at the way the judge just acted. Like, this is a game, a joke, everything's funny. Like, this is not funny. None of this is funny. This is people's lives, They just keep failing, Love you guys too. It makes my heart sick, okay? Because they keep failing over and over and over. When you start allowing a court system to be used as a weapon to a narcissist and the court system itself is not figuring it out and they're allowing your system to be used that way, that's when we have a really serious fucking problem. And we have that problem here in Massachusetts. We have that problem. Something's got to give. Absolutely, they did. 100% the mainstream media did, and they'll continue to do so in many other cases, Girl, listen, I've talked about it. If I could pack up right now and leave Massachusetts, I absolutely fucking would. If I had the ability, monetarily wise, and a stable, place, like job, I would pack up right the fuck now and leave Massachusetts. It's deplorable. We have a very serious, serious issue here. And I don't know what could fix it other than new laws. And that takes time, guys. That's not something that's quick. I've been working on stuff like that. It took years to get addiction treatment into people in prisons. Okay? Years. It was only being offered to pregnant women. Took years. And then we got it in the women's prison. And then they didn't put it in the men's prison. So that took another however many years, 5, I think, after that, or 7 after that, to get it into the men's prisons. Even if people are on these medications before going there. And not everybody who's in a jail is actually supposed to be there. Let's remember that, I don't think that there's anything that happened that has people down other than the judge acting like everything's kind of a big joke, like laughing and hee-heeing around with Bradel is kind of disturbing. I'm not going to lie. If I don't know, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to see if there is a connection between Judge Doolin and Timothy Bradel, because if there is, that's a serious issue. If there is, that's a serious, serious issue. And that would require some recusal, because they've been judge shopping quite some time. They've been judge shopping all around, up and down. I think it was completely disrespectful to the people whose lives have been torn apart and who continue to have to deal with this harassment, for that judge to be laughing like this whole thing is funny. I get it. We don't have video, so we don't exactly see what he's laughing at. But at the same time, to be hee-heeing around with the defendant's attorney, a little unprofessional, I mean, I would, to be honest, I would. I'd leave New England if I had that ability. I would leave New England in a heartbeat. There's a couple places I'd go. Maybe the Carolinas, Florida, Texas, but out of here. I mean, when you can't even trust the justice system to do its job and protect people the way it's supposed to, and we have a very large issue. I know a lot of states that would never put up with this kind of stuff. Not ever. Not ever. Not South Carolina. I have some friends in the Carolinas. That's why I say the Carolinas, because I would never go somewhere where I don't know absolutely anyone. I have some friends in the Carolinas. I have some friends and family in Florida. A friend in Texas. 2 friends in Texas. Cousin that's moving back from California. Alabama. Couple different places. But I have thought about moving down south. If I had the money, I probably would. Abso-friggin-lutely. He is facing a disciplinary action with the BBO. Yep. So if his license to practice gets suspended, well, then the Sewer Turtle's going to have to find a new attorney. I mean, if in fact the BBO decides to suspend Mr. Bradel's license for a year, then he can't practice. He can't be the attorney of record. If they don't, then yeah, he'll still be the attorney during trial. Oh yeah, you could all of it, and then some. We will not. We love you. I love all of you. I don't do politics here for a reason, obviously, because I love all of you too much to deal with politics here. But I think that a lot of things need to happen in this state, and victims' rights, and witnesses, potential witnesses, and victims, and then those people need to be protected. That's the bottom line, and we need the feds to start doing their job as well. Cyberstalking is actually a federal crime. It's a federal crime, and they need to start enforcing the laws that were put on the books. That's half the problem. You can have all the laws you want on the books. If they're not being enforced, then what? What tools do you have at your disposal when they're not being enforced? None. Other than to change the law and make sure that they don't have discretion anymore, that they have to use it. There's a reason why domestic violence went from somebody coming out to check things out, right, to leaving, to now in the state of Massachusetts. If they're called for a domestic violence issue, someone is being arrested. Somebody is leaving in cuffs. It is not just going to be, oh, they checked it out and everybody's fine and it's great and it's happy. Someone is going in cuffs. Doesn't matter who it is. And that's half the problem. Is half the time the wrong person ends up in the back of the cruiser. I'll never forget my best friend. Neighbor had called, God rest her soul, but the neighbor had called on her and her baby daddy, and they were arguing, but it's because he was abusing her. And a neighbor called the cops, and he had left a mark on her face. And the cops were like, hey, what's going on here? And my friend was like, nothing, we're all set, we're good. And the cop was like, well, I can't leave here without one of you in cuffs. And it looks like, you probably had hands put on you. And she was like, nope, I fell. And I kid you not when I say, instead of taking him, they took her. And she was like, and they were like, we know you didn't do anything wrong, you're the victim, we have to take someone. They didn't care who actually did or didn't do it. So even when you try to enforce the law in a way where someone has to go to jail, that's what ended up happening, is in order to, be in the bounds of the law, they take someone who doesn't need to be arrested and who didn't do anything wrong, who actually is a victim and not the perpetrator. I'll never forget that whole scenario. That was awful. Go down and bail her out. And of course, the judge dismissed it, but have to go through that whole thing anyway, for her was a lot, especially while trying to escape abuse. Is the reason why people don't call the authorities anymore when they're trying to escape abuse. I've helped so many people get out of those types of situations. I'm a survivor of one of those situations. Thank God I was as young as I was at the time. That it's been a whole nother lifetime since, I dealt with that, but I still remember what it was like. I remember the feeling of running down the street, escaping my abuser in the middle of the night and banging on doors until somebody would answer. And I had to, at one point, lay flat on a second floor porch because he was trying to bring me back, find me and bring me back. And it was the middle of the night. Nobody was answering the door. And so I climbed up to the second floor porch to get to a different door. And I heard him coming and I just laid flat and I had to lay there for like 15 minutes. And then I ended up knocking on that door. That person didn't answer. So then I had to, wait until I couldn't hear his footsteps anymore, get down. Eventually somebody answered the door. But there's reasons why people don't even call the police anymore for help when it comes to domestic violence. They just don't. Like, we need to do better as a country, as a state. We just need to do better all around, Yeah, there is upcoming hearing. I'm hopefully going to get the date to cover it to see what happens. It should be suspension. Absolutely 100% should be suspension. There should be no other thing that there's no slap on the hand that's going to make him stop doing it or stop lying as an attorney, misrepresenting in the court on purpose. He's already done that in this case. So I think you slap him on the hand or give a public reprimand. What's that going to do? Nothing. A license suspension, in my opinion, permanent, but at least a, temporary one is exactly what is needed in that case. No, in my state, it's at least one. They can take both, but it's one here in Massachusetts. They at least have to have one. Yeah, sometimes they do arrest both parties. In some states, they do. Here, it's usually at least one, but they don't. I have only seen that happen one time. Arrest both parties. Well, that's the thing, though. Why arrest the person being abused? It just makes no sense. You know what I mean? Like the victim, you want to arrest the victim. That's why people don't call for help. It's just, that's nutty. Like, that's nutty. That should never happen. It's a victim. You're re-victimizing a victim. If you know how domestic violence works, you know that at first they try to cover for the abuser, most times because they fear for their life if they don't. A piece of paper, a restraining order, a piece of paper is not going to keep your abuser away from you. Didn't keep mine away from me. That piece of paper meant absolutely nothing to him. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, you call up, you know what they'll say? We didn't see it with our own eyes. That's what they'll say. So what's the point of a restraining order if they have to see it with their own eyes to actually do anything about it or enforce it? That's half the time what people run into when it comes to domestic violence is they're forced to get the restraining order. They get the restraining order. And then when they call on the violations of that restraining order, they're then told basically, oh, well, we didn't see it, so we can't help you. And then someone ends up dead. And we're doing this, circle all around again and again and again. It's just what it is, Reactive abuse is real. It is. You'll never forget that feeling of helplessness and fear for your life. You're running for your life. You're escaping for your life. For your life. For your freaking life. My abuser almost killed me. And I'll never forget that scene. I will never forget him being covered in my blood and his own because he punched out a window in my car and dragged me through that window back into the house in broad daylight, mind you. Did not care that people were around or could see, and that's unfortunate, but that piece of paper did not keep him away, obviously. I'll never forget that scene ever in my life. I'll never forget throwing me into the house by the hood of my sweatshirt, and he had left his Nextel, yeah, because that's how long ago this was, on the table, and I died, and he had cut the cords to the regular phone, so I couldn't call for help. And so his Nextel was on the table, which was right inside the door when he threw me in there. And so I dialed 911 and I threw the phone under the bed. And about 5 minutes later, they showed up to my house banging on the door. And as soon as he heard the bangs, he ran out the back. At least that's what I thought. So I opened the door and they thankfully helped me into safety. And then they were like, "Where is he?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And they ended up finding him in a closet. He was hiding in a closet. He didn't actually make it out the back door. I had thought that's where he went. But you'll never forget that feeling of helplessness, that feeling of, I'm going to die. Like, I'm going to die today. That look where their eyes just turn black. It's like no one's home. Like there's no soul there. It's not the person that you knew or the person that you thought you knew. There's just evil. Just you're looking into straight evil's eyes. That's a feeling that you don't ever forget. You never, ever, ever forget that feeling. There's a reason why most people, and I say people because men can deal with domestic violence too, but most people have PTSD from the abuse. Violence, abuse, it's no joke. And it's something that sits with you and lives with you forever. I can still smell, just talking about it, I can smell the blood in the air. Like I can smell it. Like that's how vivid it is. And that is something that you think every day you're alive, because I might not have been so lucky had that Nextel not been on the table. That Nextel was a godsend. And it being on the table and me being able to dial 911 and hit the button and throw it under the bed so he didn't know I called saved my goddamn life. No one should ever feel like they have to walk that road alone, but they also shouldn't feel like they can't even call for help to their own authorities. And I think we're getting to a point as a country and even as my state where people are not calling the authorities for help anymore. They're calling friends or someone they think that can help them outside of law enforcement. That's not what this is meant for. They're supposed to be there to help you. They're supposed to be there to make sure that you're safe. But if you can't even rely on making sure that they can make sure you're safe, then what the fuck is the point? What's the point? And our justice system continues to just deteriorate. Something has to give, right? Change only happens when people get together and sort of enact that change together. So we want change, then we got to buckle up. We got to put those boots on, strap them up tight, and do it together. It's not something that can be done alone. It's not something that magically, disappears into thin air and just stops happening because we want it to stop happening. If we want change, we have to get together and help one another and demand that things change. If we don't, it's the same old, over and over and over. And everyone just hopes it's going to get better, right? Or hope it's going to change. But if you don't pitch in to try to make that change, then, we're part of the problem if we're not going to be part of the solution, right? Part of the solution is doing everything that we can do as human beings to try to help alleviate whatever pressure is making the situation happen, right? Whether we need a new law, whether we need to adjust some current laws, whatever is needed, whether we need to get rid of some qualified immunity issues. There's a lot of things that need to be done, but they'll never get done if we don't all come together and try to help change those things. They'll forever remain that way and probably just get worse and worse over time until more and more people get hurt. Have fun, Jesse. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up because I am starving. I did not sleep well last night. I am tired. I am so tired. But I love all of you, of course. We'll be back in the morning. I'm just gonna get my rest today, and then we'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll do 10 o'clock because 9:30. I have something real quick I have to do for about 10 minutes. So we'll do 10 a.m. tomorrow. I got some stuff we're going to go over and talk about tomorrow. If you didn't check out the video from yesterday, the cult video from yesterday, I think you might enjoy it. We had a really good stream. On your way out, though, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you can, I'd appreciate it. Share the video with a friend, tell people we exist, do that kind of stuff. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, we would appreciate it. We only survive on the donations of you guys from the channel. So we appreciate when you guys donate because that helps us get to the next stage of growing this channel and growing the content and bringing you guys the subjects and cases you guys want to talk about. So we have, a million ways to do it. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, it's on the screen, Revolut. We have a link in the chat if you just want to use credit or debit. And then, of course, you can get yourself a membership or do a super chat or a super sticker or a super thanks when we're not live anymore. And if you do it when we're not live anymore, we always read it on the next one, of course. And so everybody try to have a good day. It's like going to rain again. It's been raining on and off. So if you're in Massachusetts, just heads up, it's on the rain. Even you, Jesse, might be some rain coming your way towards baseball. But everybody try to have a good day. Try to not let this sort of get you down because there's so many more hearings to happen before the end, before this trial happens, before his trial happens, if he doesn't take a deal before said trial happens. So we'll see. There's so many more stages of this before the end. So before that trial and the end of all of this and wrapping it all up in a bow. So just remember, this is not the last bit of it. There are other hearings and other things that need to be dealt with. And maybe, just maybe, he'll feel like, hey, I might need to take a deal unless I want to gamble. Most people do not want to gamble a trial and losing. Why? Because if you lose, you can get 60 years. If they offer you 2 years or 4 or 5 to sing like a canary on other people, most of the time, someone's going to take the 2 or 3 or 5 before they're going to gamble 50 or life sentences for the amount of crimes, right? So, I mean, it's always a possibility that a plea deal happens. And what that plea deal would have to bring, a lot for them to offer it. So I think, the charges aren't going to magically be tossed out. So he's got 2 options here: bring it to trial or take a damn plea deal. I would not gamble my life with a jury because, as we saw, juries can be very fickle. It doesn't have to be something that you think you're going to get the right outcome, and then it completely goes the opposite way. So I wouldn't want to gamble a jury if I didn't have to, right? Unless I 100% knew I was going to win. Maybe not, but I feel like he'd take it if they offered him one. His public persona is very different than what he does privately and the things that he says and does privately. So when he tells everybody he's not scared and he's not afraid and everything's great, realistically, what's happening at home is he's freaking the F out, knowing that there's a lot of time hanging over his head that he could go to jail for. So, well, he might not. That's part of his delusions, right? Is not having a belief that he can lose. But I do believe that, that's a really big gamble. You want to take that gamble, be my guest, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't take that gamble. You never know with a jury. You just never freaking know. If you get imagine if you get some of these people that absolutely cannot stand him, and there are a lot of those, or someone who's, ex-boyfriend he screwed over or something, like, all it takes is one of those people lying to get on that jury, right? A holdout, a holdout for anybody else voting not guilty, and then you do it all over again, right? So you want to gamble that? Cool, be my guest. Hung jury and have to do it all over again. Or maybe more than one person gets on that jury that doesn't like you. Maybe the whole jury doesn't like you and thinks you're deplorable and disgusting, right? Then what? Then what? It's not a gamble most people are willing to take. You have to think about the real consequences of gambling like that, you know? So, I mean, we'll see, but there are, you got to think about it, that there isn't just a slam dunk, oh, hey, he's probably going to win because Massachusetts can't deal with their juries and their, I mean, there's a very real possibility that he could be easily found guilty because people just don't like him. They don't like the way he acts. They think his behavior is deplorable. I mean, there's a ton of FKR people that literally cannot stand him. And I mean a ton. So it's not a very good gamble for him, Yeah, he would have the option if he wanted it. I think maybe that's what he thinks can happen is he'll get a judge and the judge will find him not guilty. I don't see that happening, not with the evidence, but maybe he thinks that he can curry favor with the judge enough, for a judge trial, for a bench trial. Maybe. Oh, he does. He wants to taint a jury. He wants a bunch of, FKR people that like him on that jury so he can be found not guilty. The problem with that is a lot of people who are FKR can't stand him. So it's a big gamble. It's a very big gamble. It would be funny, though. You are right, DJ. That would be funny. All right. I love your stinking faces, and I will see some of you in Discord later. Tracy, I will text you and send you Jesse's number right now. Okay? Love you guys. I'll see you guys in the morning. Bye.